Yoo-hoo! The Prophecy of the Popes, attributed and written by Saint Malachy, who lived between 1094 and 1148. The Prophecy of the Popes is one of the most mysterious and controversial prophetic texts in Catholic history. Penned in the 12th century during a visit to Rome, the prophecy purports to list 112 popes from Malachy's time until the end of the papacy and the final judgment. Saint Malachy was a historical 12th century Irish bishop and reformer who served as Archbishop of Armagh before his death in the year 1148. Known for his miracles and efforts to align Irish church practices with Rome, he was the first native-born Irish saint to be formally canonised by the Catholic Church, according to tradition. During a visit to Rome in 1139, Malachy experienced a vision of all future popes, which he recorded as a sequence of cryptic Latin phrases describing each pontiff. The prophecy first appeared in print in 1595 when Benedictine monk Arnold Wion published in his work Lignum Vitae, claiming it had been discovered in the Vatican archives in the year 1590. The list contains 112 brief motes corresponding to the popes from Celestine II, elected in 1143, through an alleged final pope called Petrus Romanus, Peter the Roman. The descriptions show remarkable accuracy for popes up to the late 16th century, when the prophecy was discovered, but became increasingly vague for subsequent pontiffs, leading most scholars to conclude it was a 16th century forgery. The document remained unknown until it was published in 1595 after being found in the Vatican archives by Benedictine monk Arnold de Wion in his book Lignum Vitae. Each pope is described not by name, but by a short Latin phrase, often metaphorical or symbolic. While the early motes seem vague or unconvincing, scholars and believers alike have noted that the phrases describing popes from the time of its publication onward appear to align, often very eerily, with the pontiff's nationality, coats of arms, or notable deeds. And this has led to the speculation that the early entries were retroactively fitted to history, while the later ones may represent authentic foresight or perhaps clever guesses. The election process to become the next pope is very unpredictable. 80% of cardinals were appointed by Pope Francis himself. This represents a broad global perspective rather than the traditional European-dominated college. And get this, the final pope in Saint Malachy's prophecies, the 112th pope. This is the pope who will oversee the apocalypse. Saint Malachy predicted this pope will be named Peter the Roman. And it just so happens the leading candidate includes Italian Cardinal Pietro Parolin. If Cardinal Parolin was elected as pope and he chose the name Peter, this would create a direct fulfillment of Petrus Romanus as an Italian Roman pope named Peter. This is the most dramatic part of the prophecy. It comes with the 112th entry, and this aligns with the current era and the next pope. Saint Malachy wrote, "In the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will sit Peter the Roman, who will pasture his sheep in many tribulations. And when these things are finished, the city of 7 hills will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge his people till the end." If the prophecy is to be believed, Peter Romanus would be the last pope, and his reign would end not just in death, but in the destruction of the Catholic Church as we know it. Will the Italian Cardinal Pietro Parolin fulfill the prophecy and be installed as the 112th Pope? This would truly be a shuddering moment in prophetic terms. It must be said, most historians and theologians dismiss the prophecy of the popes as a 16th century fabrication. The Catholic Church has no official position on the prophecy, though many theologians have dismissed it. A papal historian, Anura Guruj, states, "The fact is that Malachy is a Catholic saint, so some Catholics attribute magical or spiritual qualities to the vision. What they don't tend to grasp is that more than likely the entire thing is a forgery." Placing the prophecy as a forgery is speculative at best. According to the prophecy, the 111th Pope is described with the motto Gloria Olivae, the glory of the olive. This figure is commonly linked to Pope Benedict, who was elected in 2005 and resigned in 2013. He was the first pope to do so in nearly 600 years. The olive branch is a symbol of peace, but also has connections with the Benedictine order, whose founder, Saint Benedict, prophesied that his order would play a role in preparing the world for the end times. Many have interpreted Gloria Olivae as fitting Benedict in a mystical way, especially considering his peaceful manner, his demeanour, scholarly work, and spiritual conservatism. Benedict's reign was not marked by expansion, but by reflection, theological depth, and ultimately a humble withdrawal. The withdrawal may have seen Francis as the 111th Pope, filling the shoes of Benedict, and this leaves room for the Italian Cardinal Pietro Parolin to fulfill the prophecy as Peter the Roman, who will oversee the apocalypse. If the Italian Cardinal Pietro Parolin, if Cardinal Parolin was elected Pope and he chose the name Peter, this would create a direct fulfilment of Petrus Romanus as an Italian Roman Pope named Peter. What do you guys think about this? The prophecy of Saint Malachy represents a fascinating intersection of Catholic history, apocalyptic speculation, and popular mythology. With Pope Francis's death and the impending conclave, the world will watch to see whether the next Pope's identity and name will further confirm or finally disprove Malachy's ancient seeming predictions. Regardless of the prophecy's validity, its endurance in Catholic popular culture demonstrates humanity's perennial fascination with knowing how the story ends, even when, as the Bible warns, about that day or hour, no one knows. Matthew 24:36. With Pope Francis's death, the supposed rise of Petrus Romanus, many Catholics around the world now watch with anxious curiosity to see what, if anything, comes next.